The Gurubsar's discovery of modern forms of slavery, thinly veiled as social assistance, casts a harsh light on contemporary societal challenges. These practices are driven by governmental bodies which, under the guise of participation laws, exert strict control over individual involvement in society. This control mechanism is marked by subtle but palpable threats in every form of communication. Officials act as zealous taskmasters within this system, with every interaction seemingly imbued with implicit threats and a strong sense of superiority. This sense of superiority leads them to feel elevated above the people they are supposed to help, resulting in a condescending and often intimidating attitude. The government positions itself as the administrator of this modern form of assistance, which they proudly present as an instrument for social integration. However, the reality shows limited freedom and strict control over those who depend on it. Just as in earlier times of slavery, the individual is deprived of autonomy and personal identity. Bureaucrats, driven by their sense of superiority, decide what is acceptable, accountable to the state, which functions as a true slaveholder. Every correspondence carries an underlying threat, where non-compliance can lead to financial penalties and further marginalization. This mechanism places individuals in a vicious cycle of dependency and control, where the blame for economic difficulties is often unilaterally attributed to the person themselves. Moreover, the common man is fed the idea that a welfare recipient is lazy, unwilling to work, and seeking benefits without effort. This so-called deterrent policy ensures that people on welfare are labeled as third-class citizens. The working middle class often participates in the disdain for these unfortunate citizens who did not choose to receive benefits. Modern slavery also manifests in the form of mandatory volunteering, a term that masks the coercion and unjust working conditions under which this work often occurs. The system camouflages coercion as voluntarism, while the consequences of non-compliance are clearly felt by those who need their benefits to survive. The literature on modern slavery documents how these practices subject people to intimidation, benefit cuts, and the surrender of personal documents as a form of control. Legal action is often discouraged by the threat of further sanctions and the loss of essential support. This harsh reality calls for deep reflection and immediate action. It is crucial that we take the voices of those directly affected seriously and strive for policy changes that promote human dignity and freedom. Awareness alone is not enough. There is an urgent need for a fairer system that supports rather than oppresses individuals. The Gurubsar's call compels us not only to awareness but also to concrete action. Together, we must strive for a society where everyone can participate with dignity and respect for their fundamental rights. This requires a review of policies and practices that currently contribute to the continuation of modern forms of slavery under the guise of social assistance.